Might as well be. That's right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I can tell the Christmas spirit's alive and well. Everybody seems happy, anxious, ready to get on with things. So here we go. Welcome to Joint Gov Operations Rule Review. This meeting is called to order. Today is December the 17th. Clerk, please take the roll.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling is present. Senator Crow. Senator Crow is present. Senator Hatcher. Present. Senator Hatcher is present. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Here. Senator Rose is present. Senator Seal. Present. Senator Seal is present. Senator Sutherland. Present. Senator Sutherland is present. Chairman Jackson. Here. Chairman Jackson is present. Representatives Clemens. Here. Clemens is present. Crawford. Present. Crawford is present. Faison. Faison's present. Fritz. Here. Fritz is present. Glenn. Glenn is present. Hardaway. Haynes. Here. Haynes is present. Mayberry. Here. Mayberry is present. McKenzie. Here. McKenzie's present. Parkinson. Here. Parkinson's present. Reedy. Here. Reedy is present. Renault. Renault is present. Rudder. Rudder is present. Cheryl. Cheryl's present. Towns. Chairman Lafferty.
I'm here.
Chairman Lafferty is present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum in both chambers.
Thank you for that. Before we begin, members, do we have any personal orders or announcements? Anyone, personal orders or announcements? All right, seeing none. Please note that we've got a public comment sign-up sheet on the table in the front. If any member of the public wishes to speak, please make your way to the table to sign in. Let's see. Members, little housekeeping. Item number 2 for the Department of Agriculture has been withdrawn. That starts us off with item number 1 on the agenda, the Board of Examiners in Psychology. If you guys want to please come on down. This is an emergency rule. When you are comfortable and ready, you are recognized. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Mike Critchfield, and I'm the legislative liaison for the Department of Health. I'm joined by Kathy Trawick, who's the board attorney. This rule package is the update resulting from statute recently passed by the General Assembly. Specifically, it updates requirements related to licensing certain experienced psychologists from other states to be consistent with statute. Additionally, it outlines the certified psychological testing technician profession, including the application process, scope of practice, and various other components to be consistent with statutory requirements and current practices. With that, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative Renault, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On item 1180-01-08 on continuing education, I noticed that the removal of the cultural diversity specifying the different aspects from age, disability, gender, race, ethnicity, spiritual or religious orientation, sexual orientation has been removed and renamed cultural diversity. Does this violate some of the federal executive orders to eliminate the DEI policies that would jeopardize federal funding?
Could you repeat the section that you were referring to, please?
1180-01-08, continuing education.
And when you respond, could you please introduce yourself for the committee and speak straight into the microphone, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This is Catherine Trawick, advising attorney for the board. Thank you for that question. And it does not, because down here in what is now section E, subsection E, 1E, it says that cultural diversity training should provide updated perspectives along with the skills and knowledge needed to effectively work with diverse patient populations. This may include education or cultural competency, communication strategies, and addressing health disparities. So the intent is to be able to work with patients from all socioeconomic backgrounds because you have so many varied. And so to answer your question specifically, no, it does not, it's not intended to specifically be DEI.
Any follow-up?
Not at this time.
All right, Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much for coming today. Just a quick thought, and I don't mean this to be critical at all, but I'm just going to be straightforward with it. We use lots of $2 words about cultural competency and things like that. Why don't we just say treat people like we want to be treated rather than put all these $2 legal words in this that confuse everybody and diminish the confidence of the public that we're doing the right thing?
Yes, sir, that is a valid comment, and I will take that back to my boards when we're doing this. And I apologize, Catherine Trawick again. We had a long conversation about this in the terms of DEI, and this is how they wanted to continue to refer to it. I understand.
Follow-up? Okay. Senator Rose, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ms. Trawick, thank you and for being here, what you've done. I just want to echo what they've said. I'm going to ask, I'm going to use something other $2 words. I think the word diversity has just gotten, I think there's a bunch of folks in the United States that are just averse to that word. And
Excuse us, Senator. Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't think diversity is used anywhere in this rewrite. Diversity in terms of DEI is not used within this rewrite. So I think this point that the senator is making is not valid. She described what diversity was as socioeconomic. So I think this whole line of questioning is only one that should be mad as folks like me, but we're not. We're moving on. So I don't think this is a valid line of questioning and is not relevant to what's before us.
Thank you for your input. Senator Rose, if you'd like to continue, please. Sir.
We're off topic. We need to move on. That's what I asked for.
So at my discretion, we're going to allow Senator Rose to continue. Please.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, I'm not mad. I just don't want to see the word diversity in there. I think there's another way to say it, whether you use what Chairman Fritz said or another way. So I would ask you to go back and get that word out of there. And that's my request. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Representative Parkinson, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What would be an acceptable synonym for diversity? And I guess I can ask that to my senator. He's actually my senator, Senator Rose. What would? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Was my mic cut off intentionally or accidentally?
I think that was accidentally. I didn't do it.
Okay.
I'll blame it on somebody else. Sorry.
Thank you for the question. And at this moment, I don't have a word, but I think we can do a better job with this. That's my request. And I'm not mad. And I'm glad we're friends. I just know there's just an issue in our nation right now with this. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I couldn't say. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that, and Senator, thank you. I think that my point is that I think that their intentions were well intended, right? And not trying to create, a storm because, the term diversity has become such a hated word, and it appears that under no circumstances were they talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the use of the word diversity. You know, and we should still be able to use the English language, you know, without it being such a hot item because of one word. Kind of reminds me of the movie Gangs of New York when they said, you know, this word should never be uttered in anyone's mouth, for those of you that are Gangs of New York fans, and it became a bad word. So what do? We'll all walk around and just try to find a synonym for diversity instead of using the word diversity. And it's not meaning that they're not talking about DEI. They're just talking about, you know, all different groups being able, I mean, different people from socioeconomic backgrounds being able to be served. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Senator.
Yes, sir. And yeah, this always an interesting topic. I think, any other questions? All right, seeing none. Is there any public comment? Seeing none. Do I have a motion on the rule? We have a motion for a positive recommendation. Can I get a second? And seeing none. Nope, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, if you would, please go ahead and take the roll in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes no. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes no. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes no. Senator Jackson. Senator Jackson votes no. Chairman, you have 4 ayes and 4 noes.
Thank you for that. The rule fails in the Senate. The motion fails in the Senate. Okay. We will now take the vote in the House. We'll do that by voice. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. All those opposed, no. And the noes have it. So the motion, the rule will go out with a negative recommendation. Let me take it. I got you. Give me just a minute. We're going to go out of session for just a second to hear from our attorney, Mr. Doug Garrett. We're out of session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Garrett with the Office of Legal Services. Just to comment about where we are on the status of this rule. This is the emergency rule that was filed. The emergency rule went into effect, has already gone into effect, and will remain in effect for 180 days. So the negative motion or the motion to disapprove, while officially taken, the committee will have to deal with taking up the permanent rule on the same subject or similar subject when it comes up. So staff will note that the action that occurred here, it will be up to the board to determine whether or not to implement this rule, this emergency rule. So we'll deal with this on a more permanent basis when we pick up the rulemaking hearing rule on the same subject if it comes forward. But it is in effect.
Representative Clemens, do you have a question for the attorney?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go back in session. Next up on our agenda, we have item number 3, Department of the Military. If you all come on down. When you're ready, you're recognized. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Sheehan. I'm the director of TEMA. I'm joined here by Deputy General Counsel Don Cummings, and also in the audience with us is Austin Travis from my team.
Is it possible to bring the microphone a little bit closer to you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And please proceed.
Yes, sir. So we're here today to talk about promulgation of rules which were directed in the statute that enabled the Tennessee Resilient Tennessee Revolving Loan Fund. So this enables TEMA to make loans available that were authorized in the statute by Congress, the U.S. Congress in late 2020, signed by President Trump in 2021 towards the end of his first administration. The Safeguarding Tomorrow through Ongoing Risk Mitigation enabled a revolving loan fund, authorizing a revolving loan fund so that we can authorize and make capital available to jurisdictions that are eligible, trying to mitigate disasters and increase their resilience. In 2024, this General Assembly passed the Resilient Tennessee Revolving Loan Fund Act, and making Tennessee one of the dozen states. We, at that time, received $5 million from the General Assembly to begin capitalization of this program, and this is the next step for us.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for your time today. Just a quick question on the fiscal impact of what we have before us. It says the proposed rule allows TEMA to collect interest up to 1% on the principal balance of a loan from local governments. Do we have an estimate on how much revenue that's going to generate for TEMA?
It would go back, it would not be generated for TEMA, sir. It would be generated back to the fund to enable us to make more loans to local governments.
Okay, so do we have a number of what we suspect that would be?
I do not at this time, no, sir.
But the counties, the local governments are going to bear that cost to TEMA?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that question. Along those lines, if I remember seeing something in there, if the payments are delinquent, then the federal government could withhold, I guess, future funding. What does that look like? And do we need how much do we need the federal government to do this? How much of this could we do on our own without relying on their strings?
It is the state that would withhold, sir, not the federal government. So if someone defaults, it would be withholding the tax revenue sharing.
Okay, so that'd be a state level deal. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Members, do we have any other questions? Yes, sir. Chairman Rose, you're recognized.
I just want to make a comment how much I appreciate Mr. Sheehan and his staff, and on behalf of Tipton County School Board for getting them whole.
Yes,
And
sir.
they will be moving into their school on January 5th, and they could not be more excited. They lost, as you well know, 2 schools completely, and it's been a trudge, but we really appreciate you and your staff and working with Dr. Combs and getting that accomplished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Sutherland, I'm sorry. Senator Sutherland, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank you for your hard work, especially during Hurricane Helene. And I know my county, all of my counties plus Rusty Crow's counties were hit hard, and especially Cott County, economically distressed county, would not have been able to recover without your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And Senator Bowling?
Thank you. And at the risk of being redundant here, in my former life, when I was district director in a congressional office and I was be on disaster scenes, it was very evident to me that TEMA was the lead in that, and TEMA really produced more of the help to the local communities than FEMA. So I just want to thank you for what you all do as TEMA in the state of Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Senator Oliver?
Thank you, Chairman. Couple of questions here. I'm not sure if I'm, fundamentally okay with the idea of giving a loan instead of just why wouldn't we just give a grant to a local municipality who has experienced, an unexpected disaster, and they are already potentially cash strapped, which is why they have to even ask for a loan to begin with. And then on top of that, we are charging them interest, 1%. What happens if they can't pay the 1% interest?
Dawn, can I ask you that? If they can't pay the 1% interest?
Please state your name for the record.
Dawn Cummings, Deputy General Counsel for the Department of Military. Whether there's interest charge will depend on the review committee. Under the statute, we can charge up to 1%. So there'll be factors that will be considered whether they can afford the interest rate between the 0 and the 1%.
Okay.
If I could add to,
please.
This was a topic in the aftermath of Helene. There is a place for loans because of the cost of capitalization, the shock to the system where there'll be other types of funding available. Helping jurisdictions and our system in the United States of America and in the state of Tennessee, each level of government bears some responsibility for owning their part of responding to and recovering the disasters. That's how our statutes in Tennessee are set up. That's how our statutes currently in our nation are set up. And so as long as we have that kind of shared responsibility, this is a tool that enables us to help jurisdictions that may have a hard time accessing capital markets, certainly with the Helene Emergency Assistance Loan Program. If you talk to any of those jurisdictions that took advantage of it as a bridging mechanism to face a $100 million shortfall, they're all incredibly grateful for it. And they understand that it's an important tool in helping us coordinate recovery.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. And at some point, along the lines of why not just give the money versus doing it in a loan, at some point, the taxpayers of Tennessee are paying for that. Is it going to be the people in the area affected paying for it over time? Or is it going to be the state paying for it? All of us as Tennesseans paying for it all at once. And we can always run legislation to put something like that in the budget if we need to. So thank you for that. Next up, we've got Senator Crow.
Thank you. I just do, as some of our other senators have, want to thank Director Sheehan so much. Our counties were really devastated up there. And I think, every meeting I was at, he and his staff were there. I note that on most all of them, he drove his own car. And so, I think he needs an airplane, I think, the next time we have one of these things. But literally, we're there every meeting we had, and many of them with the governor. So we appreciate it so much. There's still a lot of work to do, and we appreciate what you guys are doing. We really do. Thank you. I got a call from one of my road superintendents today saying he just got the materials to fix one of the roads. I think there's still numerous small roads that are just out of commission, some of the larger ones too. But thank you. We appreciate it.
The scope and scale of these disasters, it takes all of us to make these communities whole again. So I appreciate your support, and most of the members up here have seen me in their communities, and I appreciate what each of you do to support our communities.
Representative Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate what you do and TEMA's function and all this. And you talked about the government carrying its own weight, and there's something about taxpayers having to be on the hook for this and these loans. But there's something other to be said for taxpayers getting billed twice for the same services like we continue to do here in the state of Tennessee for some reason. So my question is, was it your proposal last year or the governor's idea last year when Northeast Tennessee was devastated to take money out of TennCare and loan it to these Northeast Tennessee communities and make them pay that back from FEMA funds from the federal government? Was that yours or the governor's idea?
I'm sorry, excuse me just one second. I'm not sure that is in the parameters of this rule.
Well, I've heard 15 different comments about the disaster last year. I'm just following up on it. That was a serious issue. It affected a lot of families, and he testified as to how we move money around, and every department has a role. So I want to get to the bottom of whose idea it was to take money out of TennCare just to loan it to families that were devastated. I think people of Tennessee deserve an answer to why we were loaning money when we should have been giving them the money from the state of Tennessee rather than loaning them, pay it back from FEMA.
All right, but go ahead and
I'm happy to
restate
answer
your
this.
question.
So as most of you are aware, and I'm on record here, probably in this same room discussing this last year, the governor charged the cabinet with being innovative and not beholden to the way that government has always done business as we look to meet the scope of the destruction of Helene. In the aftermath of the governor coming back from standing on the I-26 bridge the day after the disaster, he had a direct meeting with the cabinet charging us with doing this. Director Smith of TennCare called me at that time talking about Tennessee's unique ability to leverage Medicare through the Medicare MOU that we have with the federal government, and that there would be $100 million potentially available that could be used as long as we could provide a direct nexus that would benefit those that would be otherwise eligible for Medicare. And so what you saw is that we limited how those loans could be used, knowing that there's probably $1 billion that could be immediately applied and would still not be adequate. So it was a proposal that came out of the administration at that point to use these funds, which does not create a duplication of benefits problem, so that we're not then throwing state dollars after something that will ultimately be eligible for federal reimbursement, which is what the disaster does. And duplication of benefits problems, eligibility problems are a real problem after disasters. What we've done is helped jurisdictions capitalize and meet their needs in a way that didn't create tremendous interest burdens. And so if the success doesn't have just one author, I think this is a successful thing. I think it's something that other states, whether blue or red, will look to find ways to do the same thing. So I had a big hand in doing that. Yes, sir. That's your question.
You're recognized.
So in that case where we got the assistance from FEMA and those communities are going to have to use that money to repay the state government instead of just benefiting from those entire funds. With the proposal to eliminate FEMA, how's that going to impact your job in these types of situations?
I'm not actually seeing a proposal to eliminate FEMA. So I know things like that get talked about, and certainly there's been a lot of discussions around what our nation's emergency management system looks like. I think no matter what, I've been a state person my entire government career. I think states should do a lot. I think we've seen in Tennessee the importance of a state leading its efforts. What the federal government chooses to do or not do, I think at this point would be foolhardy for any of us to try to predict. But the FEMA Review Council has its charge. I think they'll release a report at some point in time, and the recommendations and whether the president acts on them or not are beyond my ability to know. But I'll just say too, I am a long advocate for reforming how we do disaster response and recovery. I served previously as the president of the National Emergency Management Association. My platform had two things: FEMA independence outside of the Department of Homeland Security, and also making sure that the Stafford Act, which is more than 40 years old and guides and shapes how we do recovery. Many of you know, because we have had lots of conversations, how thorny and bureaucratic the recovery process can be as we try to navigate duplication of benefit issues. There's a myriad of rules and rules upon rules, and people who have an interest only in preserving the rules and losing sight of helping communities and survivors recover from disasters. I think the Stafford Act needs to be replaced. I used to be an incrementalist and think, it could be overhauled by Congress bit by bit, but I think the whole thing needs to be washed away, and our nation's system is inadequate. I don't think anyone benefits from it in the way it's currently configured, and I may not always agree with what President Trump says or doesn't say around doing it, but I think we have an opportunity, and I think he's right to call on the fact that it is inadequate and our nation needs to do something different. So what it means for states, sir, I think states will have more responsibility to help communities recover in a way that we see Tennessee take ownership of here in the last couple of years.
Well, I would certainly hate for us to pay federal tax dollars as well as state tax dollars and not benefit from our own federal tax dollars. And that gets to billing Tennesseans twice for the same services. And I would like to see the math on that, sir. Extent that we rely on the federal government for funding. I mean, 2 years ago, it was 44% of our entire state budget. This past year, it was 38% of our entire state budget. They cut those funds off and we're on the hook. You're telling me that TEMA can carry that entire load in disasters like we suffered in Northeast Tennessee, and we're going to continue to suffer across the state of Tennessee with these environmental crises. Is that what you're saying?
It is not. That is not what I asserted at all.
Thank you.
Representative Fritz, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one follow-up. Thank you for your comments on the Stafford Act. I appreciate those. I agree with you completely. Just one quick clarification. The 1% interest, is that code-driven or is that a decision?
It is a decision, and our preference would be to make the cost of bearing capital as close to zero as possible.
Okay. So we could make it zero then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, members, any other questions? Seeing none, any public comment? Oh, I'm sorry, Chairman Reedy. Oh, all right. No public comment. All right, Chairman Reedy. We have a motion and a second on positive recommendation. Clerk, if you would please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes no. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 7 ayes, 1 no.
All right, thank you for that. Members in the House, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? That we've got, you want to register with the clerk? The ayes have it. The rule moves out with a positive recommendation. All right, next up, thank you for being here. Item number 4, Underground Storage Tanks and Solid Waste Disposal Board. Come on down, make yourselves comfortable. When you are ready, you are recognized, and please introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. My name is Allie Williamson. I'm the Legislative Director for the Department of Environment and Conservation. With me today are Stan Boyd, Kate Harper, and Nigel Luther with the Division of Underground Storage Tanks. The proposed rule change before you today clarifies and updates the underground storage tank regulations to ensure that they are current, consistent, and aligned with both industry practices and federal standards. These revisions modernize outdated references, improve key definitions, and strengthen the clarity and usability of the rules. These updates respond to both the Comptroller's 2022 performance audit and the retrospective rule review, which identified opportunities to streamline, clarify, and modernize the rules. The proposal provides the division with limited authority to grant extensions when justified, refines corrective action and closure requirements to reflect current practices, removes redundant provisions, and clarifies obligations related to outstanding tank fees. Overall, these rule changes simplify compliance, reduce unnecessary burdens on regulated entities, and support more efficient administration of the program. We did receive 4 public comments. None were substantive changes. They were all just clarifying questions. And with that, Mr. Chairman, we're happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative Parkinson, you are up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to tell them how good and great a job that they're doing today. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. I have a motion for positive recommendation and a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. And to the House, members, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule will move out with a positive recommendation. Thank you for being here. Next up, item number 5 on our agenda, Department of Revenue. And we have today an emergency rule. When you are set and ready, please introduce yourself for the record and tell us about your rule. Proposed rule, sorry.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. I'm Autumn Cole, Legislative Director for the Department of Revenue, and sitting beside me is Mitch Porcello, the Deputy General Counsel for the department. As a part of the retrospective rule review, the department is seeking to repeal 8 rules before you today. Beginning on page 114 of your packet, the first rule we're seeking to repeal, Rule 1320-2-1-.08. This rule regards the procedure to contest a levy in the sale of seized property. This rule is duplicative as it's already in law. The next rule, Rule 1320-4-1-.05. This rule regards the procedure for the issuance of transportation permits for vehicles importing beer into Tennessee. This rule is antiquated as the department no longer issues transportation permits. The next rule, Rule 1320-4-1-.06, regards the emergency transportation of beer into the state if the vehicle that has previously been issued a transportation permit is unavailable. This rule is antiquated as the department no longer issues transportation permits. The next rule, Rule 1320-4-6-.01, regards tax stamps for distilled liquor. This rule is antiquated as tax stamps for distilled liquor has been repealed by law. The next rule, Rule 1320-7-5-.05, regards the procedure for how governmental agencies who are exempt from motor fuel taxes may use customer-controlled pumps. This rule is duplicative as it's already in law. The next rule, Rule 1320-7-6-.01, regards the special petroleum tax on the export of petroleum products from Tennessee. This rule is duplicative as it's already codified in law. The next rule, Rule 1320-7-6-.02, regards the records required to be kept by petroleum product dealers. This rule is duplicative as it's already codified in law. And the final rule, Rule 1320-8-4-.02, regards the registration fee required for the Purple Heart licensee plate. This rule is antiquated as state law currently provides the first plate for free. Happy to take any questions that you all may have.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We have a motion for positive recommendation, and I see a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please, go ahead and take the roll in the Senate, or take the vote in the Senate, I'm sorry.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 8 ayes.
Thank you for that. And members in the House, all those in favor of positive recommendation, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here today. Merry Christmas. Next up, item number 6, Department of Financial Institutions. Come on down, and when you are ready, sir, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. Todd Staley, Department of Financial Institutions. The department, as part of the retrospective rules review initiative, has identified 4 rules for repeal. Rule 018002 requires state banks to retain records for various time periods. Due in part to advances in technology, several provisions of this rule have become outdated and impose unnecessary burden on state banks. Further, the department has determined that its ability to examine banks would not be adversely impacted by the repeal of this rule, and thus the rule is no longer needed. Rule 018016 sets out requirements if a state bank establishes a special reserve fund. Rule 16, originally promulgated in 1986, is outdated and inconsistent with current FDIC guidance. Moreover, the commissioner under the Banking Act has and will continue to have the authority to approve a special reserve fund if a bank chooses to establish one. Rule 018026 sets out certain requirements for money transmitters. In 2023, Public Chapter 115 replaced the former Tennessee Money Transmission Law of 1994 with the Money Transmission Modernization Act, incorporating these requirements into statute and rendering this rule ineffective and unnecessary. Lastly, Rule 018031 contains notification requirements and procedures for a state bank to open a loan production office. National banks are not subject to the same requirements, placing state banks at a disadvantage. Moreover, the department has determined that this information can be obtained through examinations. With me today, I have staff from both the legal division and the bank division, and happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Okay, not seeing any. Any public comment? Seeing none. Members, do I have a motion? Chairman Reed? We have a motion. We have a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please take the roll in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 8 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you for being here today. Merry Christmas. All right, next up, item number 7, the Health Facilities Commission. When you are ready, please introduce yourself and you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. My name is Katie Thomas, and I'm with the Health Facilities Commission. This amendment to the standards for hospitals allows for dual licensure designation with the Health Facilities Commission and the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. To be licensed as a medical psychiatric hospital, the institution shall be primarily devoted to the diagnosis and treatment of persons requiring psychiatric services, with the ability to treat the medical comorbidities of such persons. A medical psychiatric hospital shall meet the same health and life safety regulations of a general hospital, except that radiology services, a surgical unit, and maternity facilities are not required. In addition to the dual licensure designation, this rule formally adopts the CMS recognition of a critical access hospital without Tennessee Department of Health involvement. Since 2022, the Health Facilities Commission has served as a CMS state survey agency rather than the Department of Health. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Also seeing none. All right. We have a motion for a positive recommendation. I have a second. Madam Clerk, you want to go ahead and take the vote in the Senate, please?
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 8 ayes.
Thank you for that. And to the House, members, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you for being here. And Merry Christmas. I'm not saying Merry Christmas because of the bills or anything, just nice thing to say. All right, next up, item number 8, the Massage Licensure Board. Please make your way to the front. And when you are ready, you are recognized. And please don't forget to state your names for the record.
Good afternoon again, committee. My name is Mike Critchfield. I'm legislative liaison for the Department of Health. I'm joined by the board chair, Bill Mullins, and our board attorney, Michael Varnell. This proposal is a result of the department's retrospective review and makes several small changes. First, this would clarify that licensed massage therapists are able to provide massage services out of a physician's office, so long as the office primarily provides chiropractic care, even if the office doesn't have an establishment license with the board. It additionally adds the associated bodywork and massage professionals to the list of pre-approved providers of continuing education courses. This proposal also clarifies current practice that establishments and massage therapists can apply for renewal of licensure online or via mail, as is current practice. And it also additionally, it clarifies digital advertising requirements for establishments and therapists whose licensure is pending must include a disclaimer. And with that, we'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you for that explanation, members. Representative Renaud, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do I understand that if a massage therapist is housed in, say, a chiropractor or doctor's office, then they are not charged an establishment fee? But then if they are operating independently, they would be responsible for their massage therapist fee and then also an establishment fee?
I'll defer to our board chair, Mr. Mullins.
You recognized?
William Mullins, board chair of the massage board. Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
That seems a little unfair because the person who's going to choose to operate independently basically is double feed for their desire to operate independently. In Alabama, massage therapists ended up becoming, because of very similar rule, they ended up having to be supervised by nurses who then really can't direct them to do anything. So I'm a little concerned that we're going to double fee someone who's choosing to operate independently and then potentially put them under someone who may have to have a supervisory oversight over them that doesn't actually practice their trade.
Yes, ma'am.
Michael Barnell, Board Attorney. I would just refer you Tennessee Code annotated 63-18-105. An establishment license is not required in the office of a physician that's licensed under Chapter 4, 6, or 9. And that includes, I think, a medical doctor, a doctor of osteopath, and a chiropractor.
You're recognized.
I understand that, but again, my point is we are double feeing someone who's choosing to operate independently, who has had no problem for some period of time operating as licensed massage therapists, and now we're going to fee them, give them an extra fee if they choose to operate independently outside of an establishment.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is correct.
Okay.
That has been a discussion point for some time now.
Okay, I'm just going to have to oppose these rules on that ground. Yeah.
What would be the rationale for making someone pay twice because they wanted to be independent?
I'm not completely following the question.
You help me out, Representative Renaud?
Sure. My original question, which you responded yes to, is that if a massage therapist is housed in a chiropractic or doctor's office, then they would not be charged an establishment fee. And you responded yes to that. So that means somebody who chooses to operate independently would then be responsible for their massage license fee and then an additional fee for practicing outside of an establishment.
Well, they would only be charged the additional fee if they get an establishment license.
No, what you said earlier is that they would not be charged an establishment fee if they were operating under a doctor or chiropractor's office. So we're penalizing people for operating independently.
They're not charged a fee if they're operating in a doctor's office or.
If I'm,
Correct.
I think.
That's my point.
If I may, what you're referring to, Ms. Renaud, Representative Renaud, is that if a massage therapist wants to practice and have their own shingle, if you will, that they are charged an establishment fee as well as their licensure fee. That's not to say that they could not have additional therapists underneath them that would, work there as well. The rules that have been established that would not, that would say, no, you do not have to have pay a licensure or an establishment fee were not set up by the massage board. They were done by other organizations, other lobbyists for the chiropractic board and the osteopaths. The idea was, I believe, when this was originally set up, that there were, excuse me, I'm blanking on the term right now. The establishment fees were in part set up because we had the inspections, and that has not been done in some time. However, it is a way for the board to be able to monitor establishments and be able to say that we do have some administrative authority if an establishment is not, or a massage therapist is not performing up to the standards that we have set in place.
You recognize Representative Renaud.
So you don't go visit or inspect a massage therapist if they are housed in a chiropractor or doctor's office because they're paying an establishment fee or the doctor covers that establishment fee?
The doctors, again, it was the lobbyists that put that in place. The massage board was against that, to not have the establishment license in those facilities, largely due to the fact that there are, a small number, fortunately, of individuals and establishments that do not, that are, as some people have said, bad actors. But the reason why, did you want to speak up to this?
Representative Renault, I think that part of the rule was just clarifying an issue where someone who had an establishment license was subleasing to people at establishments outside of theirs. And I think that that rule was just cleaning that up and clarifying the intent.
You're recognized.
Under the section of 4, it appears to me anyway, and I could be wrong, but this is a completely new line that was added. I don't see any changes or anything that was removed prior to this new line being added about the establishment license.
It was set up as a grace period until the end of the year for people to get the establishment license.
Yeah. So I believe that change was added as a clarification, and the board had a 3-month grace period. This piece we're referring to is an attempt to clean that up. And the board gave a 3-month grace period for people to get in compliance where there were no penalties for people who were engaging in this subleasing practice. And that's just cleaning up that misunderstanding.
Okay, I'm just not seeing, I don't see anything in here about subleasing under this, in this section of the rules, under the necessity of licensure.
Again, Michael Bardell, Board Attorney, just to be clear, are we talking about Rule .04, subparagraph 1?
Correct.
Yes, and that's just referring to make clear that pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 6318-105, an establishment license is not required for massage therapists that are operating in a physician's office license under Chapter 4, 6, or 9. And 4, 6, and 9 is referring to medical doctors, osteopathic physicians, and chiropractic physicians. If a massage therapist is operating in one of those offices, or an establishment license is not required under the Tennessee Code Annotated 6318-105.
Okay, I understand what that's saying. I still think we're double feeing someone who's choosing to operate independently. That's all I got.
Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And not to belabor the point, but it seems like my colleague was saying that, it costs more to operate independently, which would possibly kind of corral operators into offices with chiros and others. But my question is, why do we even need a rule to allow massage therapists to operate in chiropractors' offices?
The rule is just clarifying what the statute says.
Okay.
Just reiterating current statute and rule.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And an establishment
Oh.
fee,
I'm sorry.
an establishment fee, to be clear, is not required if they don't have an establishment license. And a massage therapist only has to pay the establishment fee if they have an establishment license.
And
You're recognized.
thank you. And explain to us what's the difference between just a general operator as a massage therapist versus having an establishment license. That mean that establishment license will mean that they are an owner, operator of a brand or something related to massage, and that they hire other therapists to work in there also.
That is one possibility. Not all massage therapists also have establishments. So having an establishment license is just like having your own business where you have some place that people can actually come to. The definition of establishment in massage in our rules say that you're working in a fixed or mobile facility open to the public for compensation. So if all three of those criteria are met, then it's an establishment. If I'm going out to someone's home, or if I'm working with another facility, another clinic, then I do not have to have an establishment license.
Okay, I think I see your point now. I think I see the point of the rule too. So under with if a massage therapist is to move their operation into a chiropractor's office, then that chiropractor would be the person responsible for the establishment license. Is that correct?
The way the rules are set up now, if a massage therapist works with or under a chiropractor, the chiropractic board has set up that an establishment license is not required. in whether it's a chiropractor or a doctor of osteopathy. The other, doctor and honestly, chiropractic and massage have been going together for decades. I've seen massage therapists with med spas and osteopaths. So that's that is more of a, I don't want to necessarily call it an outlier, but it is a small percentage of the total of all the massage therapists and establishments that we do have in the state.
So, and last thing, Mr. Chair, so in reality, our beef shouldn't necessarily be with y'all, it should be with the massage board then, right? The fact that they've established an establishment fee for a massage therapist, because that's where the massage fee lies, am I correct? For establishments.
If a massage therapist wants to go out and have, their own place that they work out of, then they would have their own personal license. They would also have an establishment license, which very simply is just a simple cost of doing business, not unlike having a business license from Davidson County or Williamson County or anything else.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Everybody clear? Okay. Any further questions? Senator Bowling, you're recognized.
Just to make sure I understood this part, there are massage therapists who operate out of their homes. Do they have to pay an establishment fee if they're operating out of their own home?
Yes, they do. Of course, that brings up another interesting point of within a given county, whether or not a massage therapist is allowed by the county regulations to have that. But yes, ideally, they should have an establishment license out of their home if the county allows for that.
Okay. Members, any other questions? Oh, Representative Chairman Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee, I sympathize with the lady from Chattanooga, but I would say that this is the law that we have passed. So before we take a vote on this, you understand, this is not defending what you are saying, not taking a point on that, but this is the law that we passed. So you can stay the rule for up to a certain amount of time and then change the law. But I don't know if voting against this rule is actually the smart way to go, because they're filling in what we've told them to do. So I just want to make sure the committee knows that whether we think it's right or wrong, that's what the law says. So we need to consider before we make a motion of what we're doing, because if we kill the rule, we're voting against the law that we've passed, and it's clear. And we can go to legal if I'm not understanding what's going on. But at first I was confused as a goat on AstroTurf, but now I feel like understanding the law. We've passed this, and they're falling in line with what we said. So I just want to make sure the committee knew that before we made a motion that we might not need to make. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the wisdom of that gray little chin of yours. Members, do we have any other questions? Sorry, Chairman. No more. Representative Renaud, you're recognized.
Can you tell me when this statute was passed?
Originally 1995.
So then 30 years to add a rule.
So did it take that long to correct this rule? Sorry, I'm genuinely curious.
I don't have an answer for that. We can get back to you with a more accurate answer. I do know that these rules were born out of a retrospective review, looking for things that had been looked over in years past.
And legal.
So, better late than never, I guess.
Legal has just informed me too that rule was amended in 2019. So it's not a little edge on the question there, but all in light humor. Everybody's still in a good mood. This is good. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none. Members of the public, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. You knew the next question. We have a motion and a second for positive recommendation. Madam Clerk in the Senate, would you please take that vote?
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Cinder Crowe votes aye. Cinder Hatcher. Cinder Hatcher votes aye. Cinder Kyle. Cinder Oliver. Cinder Oliver votes aye. Cinder Rose. Cinder Rose votes aye. Cinder Seal. Cinder Seal votes no. Cinder Sutherland. Cinder Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 7 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you for that. On to the House. Members, all in favor of positive recommendation, please indicate by saying aye. All opposed? All right, we've got 1 no. If you want to be recognized, report to the clerk. All right, rule moves out despite all this with a positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here. Merry Christmas. All right, number 9, Board of Dentistry, please come on down. You are the next contestant. When you're set and ready, please introduce yourselves and go ahead and tell us about your role.
Thank you, Chairman. Mike Critchfield, Legislative Liaison for the Department of Health. This rule simply increases the application and renewal fees paid by dentists, dental hygienists, and registered dental assistants to ensure the board is meeting self-sufficiency requirements. Additionally, a small certification fee is being added for dental assistants that had previously been set to 0. Various other fees are being rounded up to the nearest dollar. The board previously decreased fee amounts and have been operating at a deficit. These increases are necessary to return the board to self-sufficiency requirements. And with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you for that explanation. Chairman Reedy, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question for you: for self-sufficiency purposes, the fee structure that you're wanting to put into place now, how long will it take? Would it be this first year, second year, or do we have any idea where we need to get you back into the proper position?
Thank you for the question, Chairman. I'll defer to my colleague who's probably got a better answer for you.
Thank you. Matthew McSpadden, Fiscal Director for Division of Health Licensure and Regulation. Based on the fee structure that is proposed before you, we would be self-sufficient revenue matching expenditures within the first, hopefully, year and a half. We are also looking at increasing the board's reserve balance. It has dipped so low that in order to be at the level that we would like it to be policy-wise, it would take about 7 to 8 years to get to that point, at which point we would then reevaluate the fee structure and bring it down to a net neutral level at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And how did it get so far behind? Was there oversight, a delay in adjusting what needed to be adjusted? Were you not looking far enough down the road? How did we get here?
Thank you. Matt McSpadden, Fiscal Director. There was a fee decrease 2 years ago that was done intentionally to draw down that reserve balance. Since then, there have been several increases in expenditures due to cost of living raises, salary adjustments, and pay for performance, as well as some technological expenditures that have increased over the last couple of years. So the reserve balance did get drawn down a little bit more quickly than we had initially expected, which is why we're here so quickly since the fee decrease. But we are instituting some oversight over that moving forward so that we don't find ourselves in this position again.
Okay, thank you for that. And also, one of the things that troubled me about the application fees, it seems, if I read it right, the application fees for the dentist will double. They will triple for the hygienist, and for the dental assistants, it looks like they're, if this is the right word, centuple. Why such a disparity? Why? It seems like the folks that can afford it the most are getting hit the least, and those that can afford it least are getting hit the hardest.
Sorry. Ashley Fine, I'm the advisory attorney for the Board of Dentistry. The Board of Dentistry, when they received the initial recommendations from fiscal, they did move the numbers around so that dentists, they did try to put the bulk of the increase on dentists. It's still, and I'll let Mr. McSpadden correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the number of licensees also that impacts how those fee increases, how they, if they're successful. So it had to be within the realm of keeping it beneficial, but then still trying to keep the dentist at a higher increase than the others. That was the goal. But again, with the numbers of licensees, they had to spread it out through the different types of licensees.
Okay. I guess with the number of licensees, you've got several hygienists and assistants to one dentist. So their makeup of payment, to me, that gets amplified with those numbers. I'm not sure if I understood you correctly. I'm not sure that helps the way that I feel about the disproportionate increase here, if that made any sense. There's a lot more of them, so there should be a lot more money coming from them. Before you respond, I'm going to go to Chairman Reedy real quick. He might have something to add here.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, members, what we're looking at for the dentist fee goes from $300 to $600. Dental hygienist, $86.25 goes to $250. And then the dental assistance goes from $22.50 to $150. Now, my question out of all of these numbers, do we find the dentist that owns that practice, do they maybe pay these fees for the dental hygienists? Or do we know any information about that at all? Because I'm thinking if they're an employee, maybe they foot the bill anyway, Mr. Chairman.
Great question. Please, you're recognized.
Ashley Fine, advisory attorney for the Board of Dentistry. I don't have that information for you. I'm not sure how that works, but we can get information and get back to you.
Well,
We'll be more
I've got
than
a few
happy.
dentists that I know that I could reach out to them too at the same time, but thank you.
And Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, you know, as the representative just mentioned, you can't just look at percentages because they're also paying the renewal, the licensure fees, which I'm sure the dentist is paying. I mean, that's their business. But in terms of the dollar value, they're paying $1,000, other person's paying $150, other person's paying $90 and $150, and then $20. So I think my point is the dentists are still paying a significant amount more. Yeah, percentage wise, the numbers may look high, but from a dollar's value sense, the dentists are still paying a preponderance of these costs. And I'm sure so my question to you, you're looking at these fund balances individually, right? The dentist fund balance, the dental hygienist fund balance, other ones are just one pot of money that you're trying to get those funds and the amount that it's taking to get a decent fund balance together.
Certainly. Thank you, Matt McSpadden, Fiscal Director. It is one fund balance.
Okay.
It is all going into the same balance there.
Follow up?
Yeah. So my question to that is, that might be something, going forward that you may want to look at because, from a risk standpoint, I'm sure the dentist probably has a little more. That might be an alternative to keep these things maybe stovepiped a little more than we're doing with one general fund balance. Just something to consider.
Certainly. Thank you.
And I'd also noticed something, a lot of times on these rules, we've got a list of the vote, how it came down attached to the bottom of the rules. I didn't notice that in our rule packet this time. Was there a vote by the board on this?
Ashley Fine, advisory attorney for the Board of Dentistry. There is. It's on page 4 of the filing.
Page 4 of the filing. So it wasn't included with the rule packet. Could, just as a general rule in the future, if you guys keep that in the rule packet for us.
It was a unanimous vote in favor of all members present. 2 of the board members were absent.
It was unanimous?
Yes.
Okay. Members, did anybody else see this in the filing by chance? A lot of us have lives outside of this place. So we did have somebody that got it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Members, do we have any other questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We're ready to vote. Oh, we've got a recommendation for a positive recommendation, and we have a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver passes. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes no. Senator Sutherland? Senator Sutherland votes no. Chairman Jackson? Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, 2 noes, 1 pass.
All right, thank you. Members to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? No. I believe the noes have it. Members, we're going to go out of session for just a second and let our attorney comment on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Garrett again with the Office of Legal Services. Because the bill or the rule was approved in one house and disapproved effectively in the other, our office will draft. The rule omnibus bill will not reflect a disapproval of this rule. However, our office will draft an amendment for the House full committee to adopt that amendment or approve or deny that amendment when the rule omnibus bill comes through in probably March, late session. So we will account for the fact that the House did disapprove this rule and give you the opportunity to vote again on it.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative Clemens, did you want to ask the attorney? You want me to go back in
Yes.
session? Please go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, if this body does not allow the Board of Dentistry to become self-sufficient, would that not then require our body to appropriate more money to the Board of Dentistry to maintain its function? So if we don't approve this rule, essentially, we're going to have to appropriate more money for that purpose rather than the professionals keeping it sufficient
You're
financially.
recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Garrett again with Legal Services. That would have to be in the form potentially of an appropriation amendment or come from within department resources, or if, I don't think that this would happen, but to merge that function into another department. But to your point, those are certainly possibilities, yes.
So the vital function of the Board of Dentistry, which we all appreciate, would require this body to appropriate more funds from taxpayer dollars rather than allowing the professionals to keep that board financially sufficient if we don't pass this, correct?
Unless there are funds within the division of health-related boards that I don't know about, that they may be able to speak to better, somebody with the Department of Health and their division of health-related boards relative to that sort of accounting. I just don't have that information.
Thank you.
All right, I'm seeing some more hands going up. Are these questions for the attorney? Okay, let me start here.
Hit me again.
Representative Renaud, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is just, would it be an option for the board to just cut expenses? If the appropriations or the money wasn't available?
No, you're gonna have to go back in.
All right,
This is
let's-
a question for them.
Let's clean up. Let's clean up the questions for legal right now. Do I have any other questions for legal? All right, I see no other questions for legal. We're going to go back into session. And Representative Renaud, would you like to ask your question again to the board?
Sure. My question was just that would the board also have the option to reduce expenses if the fees were not, if they were not self-sufficient at the current budget?
Thank you, Matt McSpadden, Fiscal Director. The expenditures charged to the board are twofold. There are direct expenditures to the board that include salaries and benefits for the administrative staff, things such as professional fees for the board. And then there are allocated expenditures, which include technological, our controlled substance monitoring database, our licensure and regulation system, which are allocated across all health-related boards based on the number of licensees. So we have had studies and have done things to make sure that the boards are running as efficiently as we can, and we're always looking to improve that. But at this time, the reduction of expenditures would take more research into looking at that further.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to the board, you've got probably 3 or 4 months to get this worked out before the rule omnibus bill hits the House floor. But I would encourage you to see, is there a possibility to come back to us where you didn't have a 300% increase. I think maybe some of the House members who were not real excited about that that was a huge jump. And obviously we're a state that doesn't want to tax, and we like to pay to play, and we understand the fee thing. So, but that was just such a huge jump. Is it possible that you can still meet your requirements legislatively that we've put on y'all without having such a huge jump in the fees? So you don't have to answer that right now, but I think there's a potential, because this actually goes back to full committee when we're in session, and we could amend it then and fix that before we get to the raw notice bill, or we cannot. So I just wanted to put that out there, that maybe there's a potential you can, not quite as heavy a fee.
All right. Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? All right, so I believe the way we stand right now, we have a positive recommendation in the Senate. We have no recommendation from the House, or a negative recommendation from the House. My apologies. And with that, the rule will move out as stated earlier by legal. So thank you guys for being here. It's not as happy a Merry Christmas, but all the same, Merry Christmas. All right. On to the next one. Item number 10. The Board of Veterinary Examiners, please come down. All right, when you are ready, you are recognized. And again, I know you've been here for a few minutes, but please state your name for the record again.
Of course. I think this is my last one. So Mike Critchfield, Legislative Liaison for the Department of Health. This proposal has 3 parts. It clarifies that the subject matter and continuing education courses each year for veterinary technicians. 6 of the 12 required hours must pertain to medical, surgical, and/or nursing care of animals. The remaining 6 hours may pertain to another area of interest in veterinary medicine. The next part requires veterinary facilities and retail establishments to have a separate entrance located on the public street or another area adjoining the establishment. This requirement is already in statute, and we're just reiterating it in a rule. And then finally, the last is dealing with requires that applicants for certification as animal euthanasia technicians must have completed a course on euthanasia within 12 months of application. The course must have included participation in the performance of euthanasia, and it also opens a pathway for technicians to return to the workforce by changing continuous practice requirements and creating a method to reactivate certification through the completion of a board-approved course on euthanasia within the previous 12 months.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. All right. We have a motion for positive recommendation, and we have a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please go ahead and take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. And members to the House, all those in favor of a positive recommendation indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here. And once again, Merry Christmas. All right. We are next up, item number 11, Department of General Services. When you are situated and ready, please introduce yourself and tell us about your rule today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee. My name is Tyler Cosby. I'm Senior Associate Counsel and Legislative Liaison for the Department of General Services. With me today, I have Elizabeth Henderson, who is also a Senior Associate Counsel. We're here this afternoon to discuss a couple of proposed rule repeals as a result of the retrospective rule review. And I will let Ms. Henderson explain that to you.
Good afternoon. Beth Henderson, Senior Associate Counsel with DGS. There are 2 rules that you have before you that both are repeals. The first one is Rule 0690-01-01-.10. This is actually a federal regulation that has been put into the state regulations. It doesn't really go there. It's redundant, and so we have proposed to repeal it. The second rule is Rule 0690-01-01-.13. This is a form and not a rule. It should have never been in the rules, and so we are proposing to repeal it. It is on the website as a form. And that is all.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We have a motion for positive recommendation. We have a second. Madam Clerk, please go ahead and take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members, on to the House. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank
And
you.
we got you one more time, I think. We're going to go out of order. I'm sorry. Just give us 1 second. Thank you. We're going to jump over to item number 14 while we have you here. It's page 281 in your packet for those who are following along. And please, when you are ready, go ahead and tell us about your rule.
Thank you. Again, Beth Henderson, Senior Associate Counsel with DGS. These are more rule repeals. These are the state surplus property rules. The first one, all of these are appendices, so they're never were technically rules. But the first one is Rule 0690-02-01-.22. This one is called Appendix 1. It is a form, or actually this one is condition codes. It's just a list of codes that are used on forms. The second one is Rule 0690-02-01-.23. This one is another appendices. It is a list of county codes that are used in our forms. This third one is Rule 0690-02-01-.24, Appendix 3. This is a form. The next is Rule 0690-02-01-.2, Appendix 4. This is also a form, and it's not a rule, and is also on the website. The next is Rule 0690-02-01-.26, Appendix 5. This is also a form and not a rule. The next is Rule 0690-02-01-.27. This is Appendix 6. It is a form and not a rule. And we are proposing to repeal all of these.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions about the forms? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. All right. We have a have a motion for a positive recommendation, and we have a second. Madam Clerk, if you would, please go ahead and take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members, to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We will let that rule move out with a positive recommendation. Thank you, guys, and have a Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And next up, Department of Safety. Thank you for your patience. Chairman Faison, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I've heard some real consternation on this rule. I've sat down and spent a little bit of time in between hearings with the Department of Safety and with the committee's indulgence. I would like to offer a 30-day stay, and so we can get some understanding or some clarity or see what the Department of Safety would like to do between now and the next 30 days.
All right, let's, noted. let's hold on for just a second. Let's go ahead and get a cursory review, please, of the rule. And you know how this works. Please introduce yourself for the record and tell us about the rule.
Elizabeth Stroker, General Counsel for the Department of Safety, and I've got Ryan Baird, who's our Assistant Legislative Director, with me. These rules were being proposed to make some changes to the enhanced handgun permit course. A few of the changes were codifying that you cannot have live firearms within the classroom portion. Those are only for the range, with the exception of permanently disabled firearms. Another change was that you actually have to have the enhanced permit that you're teaching to be able to teach this enhanced permit course for those who want the enhanced permit. And then the third change, outside of the rest were just minor grammatical things. The third change was clarifying, making it clear that the schools cannot share your personal information or the fact that you went through their course with anyone outside of the school or the department. Those were the three main changes.
Thank you for that explanation.
But we have chatted with Chairman Faison, and we are okay with that 30-day stay.
Okay, that's Representative Clemmons, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If somebody could enlighten me as to what the consternation or the cause for the consternation is, I'd like to know that before we voted on this motion per se.
Chairman Faison, would you like to take that?
No.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second.
It's all right. I've got some other volunteers. Representative Fritz, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll take on some of that. I'll help with that. There's a couple phrases and wording, uses of wording in this to my colleague that are problematic. First of all, permanently disabled might take us down the wrong path. I think if we look, and we can ask legal about this, but even if we use the red or blue guns, the rubberized fake firearms, that could fall under code as a firearm in some cases if used the wrong way. And you cannot permanently disable those. I would offer further that permanently disabled means it cannot be rendered operable again, period. And so when you get into some of those phrases, I think that creates some problems for us. I think that leaving some of this to the persons conducting the training might make more sense, because separating the firearm from the ammunition and leaving that process to the people doing the training is probably the wise thing to do. I think that we've probably overwritten this. And so that was my basic complaints against Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. Representative Renaud, did you want to add anything?
I don't know if you want me to add anything, but I think Representative Fritz covered a great deal of the major problems with or concerns about this rule.
Oh, all right, thank you for that. Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure, maybe I'm incorrect, but I thought there was a motion and a second early on and before this discussion even started. Where are we at on that?
We're going to reach, we're going to public comment next. And after the public comment, we'll.
Yeah, that's, Mr. Chair, just,
Okay, please.
and maybe I'm incorrect, maybe we go to the parliamentarian on this, but if there's a motion and a second, I think that cuts off everything and that should be voted on. Am I incorrect in that?
Okay, I understand there's some folks, some members upset right here, right now. Let's go ahead and get the public comment. After we get the public comment, then we'll move on to the motion, to the second, and we'll proceed from there. Is there any public comment? All right, I see a couple folks. If you guys want to come on down, I've got a couple of chairs over here on your right. All right. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. If you would please limit your comments to 2 minutes. Introduce yourself, Let us know who you're with and who'd like to start first. All right, you're ready.
Jonathan Lowe, defensivepistolcraft.com. If we can only use disabled handguns in the classroom portion, it would make it impossible to teach trigger control, which is an essential part of the firearms training process. It would make it impossible for us to teach administrative operations such as racking the slide, loading the pistol, unloading the pistol with dummy ammunition in the classroom, which means you force it into the live fire section and it eats up time there. So we need to do it in the classroom session. It prevents us from allowing the students to clean their pistols. Cleaning and inspection is an essential part of maintenance for firearms preparedness, reliability. It turns the classroom into a gun-free zone. And that's a problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. No, thank you for your comments. And you're up next. If you would, please go ahead and introduce yourself and make your comments. You've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Smith, retired Metro police officer, currently a firearms instructor at Royal Range in Bellevue. I conduct handgun carry permit classes, armed security classes, as well as HR 218, the Retired Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act classes. I kind of agree with him. I would rather have students seated and me demonstrating in a controlled environment than have them on the gun range. If you have up to 50 people, which we do sometimes in a class, it's easier for me to have them seated. Right now, we got a memo back in May where we had to keep firearms out of the classroom, including instructors. It's part of my responsibility is keeping the classroom safe. If somebody had ill intent, the closest person with a firearm probably in our business is 50 yards away. So it makes no sense to disarm the instructors. The way we handled it, firearms were forward to the classroom. We were teaching in front of that, so students didn't have access to it. So now they have to lock them in their vehicles. There's a public service announcement slide in the PowerPoint that the state issues, tells people not to leave unsecured guns in their vehicles. So we're having them lock them in their vehicles, and then they're coming in and seeing that. And we looked at a media release from Metro Police here in Nashville, first week in December, 1,200 guns have been stolen approximately. 76% of those were stolen from vehicles. So what are we teaching the students in regards to that? We're letting them prosper. They don't even have to have a permit. We like that they come because they're getting the legal aspect of it, but they can go prosper in society with a permit or without a permit in Tennessee. So that's kind of my recourse on that.
Great. Thank you for that. Sounds like we've got a lot of mixed messages going on and maybe even a rule that just kind of came up. And, oh, yes, the department would like to respond. Please.
Yeah, thank you. And so I kind of wanted to touch on a few things and the reasoning for why we recommended these changes. The main one around not having live firearms or ammunition in the classroom is a safety standard. These are courses and permits that are issued by the department, that are issued by the state. They are acting on behalf of the department. And so the department holds that ultimate liability. And for us, it is a safety matter. We have the range portion so that you learn how to use the firearm. You've got proper eyewear, you've got proper hearing equipment, you've got people on there who know what they're doing and know how to make sure that no one is pointing a gun where they shouldn't, not loading it inappropriately. Again, this change came because we didn't think it was necessary to clarify that. And then we had an incident where an instructor shot a student in a classroom. And so that's what prompting the changes is so that we can make sure that the classroom portion is so you can learn the laws, so you can learn how the firearm works. The range portion is where you learn how to shoot, where you learn how to load, where you learn all of those other things. And that's why we wanted the two separate to protect that liability, both for the department and for that entity and for those in the classroom. And so that, again, it's not a jab at your right to have a firearm. It doesn't impact any of that. This is just the standard the department wanted to set for those people getting that enhanced permit. If that's not something you want to do, you can get the concealed permit. That doesn't require in classroom
training or range training. And it allows you to carry in the same places, or you don't have to get a permit. And so the department is really looking out for the safety of those individuals who are in the classroom, including the instructor, so that the firearms are left at the range where is it appropriate and they have the appropriate personnel and equipment to ensure safety. And that again kind of goes towards the point of the permanently disabled. Our intent, I appreciate Chairman Fritz and his comments. The intent for the permanently disabled is so you can have a firearm in the classroom, but it cannot be used. It cannot be loaded. Our intention was, just removing a firing pin. So they have that for demonstration so that the live rounds, the live firearm is specifically for the use on the range. And again, we're okay with this 30-day stay, but I at least wanted to clarify what the intent was and why the department brought these changes.
Okay, thank you for that. We have gotten, we've gotten a little bit deep into this. We've got a motion and a second for. So I may have had a misstep or two along the way. My apologies to everybody. Let's go ahead, since we've already discussed the 30-day stay. This is going to come back to us when everybody's I thought we were in a good mood when we started this. It's gone south pretty quick here recently. But we'll go ahead and hear the motion from Representative Faison.
Motion for a 30-day stay.
We have a motion for a 30-day stay. We have a second. Yes. Madam Clerk, if you would, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver passes. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes, 1 pass.
Thank you for that. And members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed? All right. If you want to be recognized, please make note. So the staff will file the stay with Secretary of State's office. So gentlemen, 30-day stay. We keep an eye out for this. If you want to come back and speak in the future, just keep an eye on what we're doing so that you can be sure and be here again. Thank you for your time today. Thank you guys for being here. We've got one. Okay. All right. So that'll move out. Okay. Next up, also the Department of Safety. You guys know how it works. Please introduce yourselves for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Baird, and I'm the Assistant Director of Legislation for the Department of Safety and Homeland Security. The Department of Safety is amending the safety inspection program within the department. The Tennessee Highway Patrol Division Rule 1340-03-02. The safety inspection program is a statutorily mandated uniform system for conducting safety inspections on homemade and/or materially reconstructed trailers, semi-trailers, and pole trailers on roadways. The proposed amendments update the rules to the current state and federal requirements that all THP and stakeholders adhere to. The majority changes in this proposed amendment are grammatical. The department held a rulemaking hearing on this proposal on October 22nd of 2025, and no public comments were received. Thank you for your time, and I stand ready for any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, any questions? Seeing none, Chairman Reedy, you're recognized. Oh, my apologies. Do we have any public comment? All right, Chairman Reedy, you were saying. We have a motion for a positive recommendation, and we have a second. Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and take the vote in the Senate, please?
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 6 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here. Merry Christmas. Next up on our agenda, item number 15, the Department of Finance Administration with TennCare. Please come on down. You guys are pretty familiar with the routine. When you're comfortable and ready, please introduce yourself for the record and tell us about the rule.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Amanda Petrie. I serve as Associate Counsel for TennCare. With me today on my left is Dr. Renee Clark, Chief Pharmacy Officer for TennCare, and on my right is Dan Kilpatrick, Senior Associate Counsel and Rules Attorney for TennCare. Item 15 on your agenda, starting on page 293 of your packet, amends TennCare's existing rules to remove the quantity limit on the number of generic drugs a TennCare enrollee age 21 and over can receive per month. Specifically, these permanent rules amend rules 0.04 and 0.05 of TennCare Rule Chapter 1200-13-13 and Rule 0.04 of TennCare Rule Chapter 1200-13-14 to remove the 5 prescription drug limit a TennCare enrollee age 21 and older can receive per month, and amends Rule 0.05 of TennCare Rule Chapter 1200-13-13 to remove the sentence that there is no out-of-pocket maximum on copays, which will align our rule with federal law. On August 1st of 2025, TennCare filed emergency rules that substantially mirror these permanent rules. The permanent rules are set to become effective on January 26th of 2026 before those emergency rules expire. We conducted a public hearing for these permanent rules on September 4th of 2025 and received no public comments. We are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Chairman Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I read these, and explain to me why I'm misunderstanding this. You said you removed the 5 limit, but you replaced it with a 2. Is that correct? So you lowered it from 5 to 2, or am I misreading that?
Thank you for the question, Representative Clemens. The 2 prescription drug limit, and I'll defer to Dr. Clark if I misstate this, but we are removing that 5 prescription drug limit on generic drugs, but that 2 prescription limit is for brand name drugs, and that has always been there. So it's not really replacing it. We're just removing the 1 prescription limit for generic drugs.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Any public comment? Seeing none. We have a motion for positive recommendation, and we have a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please take the roll on the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Chairman, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. And to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you, guys. It looks like you've got item number 16 as well. Please announce your name again and tell us about your rule.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amanda Petrie, Associate Counsel for TennCare. On my left, Dr. Renee Clark, Chief Pharmacy Officer for TennCare. And on my right, Dan Kilpatrick, a Senior Associate Counsel for TennCare and our Rules Attorney. Item 16 on your agenda, starting on page 311 of your packet, amends TennCare's existing rules to allow for the coverage of FDA-approved weight loss drugs for TennCare enrollees. Specifically, these permanent rules amend Rules 0.04 and 0.10 of TennCare Rule Chapters 1200-1313 and 1200-1314 to remove the coverage exclusion of FDA-approved weight loss drugs when prescribed for the treatment of obesity. On August 1st, 2025, TennCare filed emergency rules that mirror these permanent rules. These permanent rules are set to become effective on January 26th of 2026 before the emergency rules expire. We conducted a public hearing for these permanent rules on September 4th of 2025 and received 1 public comment in support of the rule change. We appreciate that comment and support we received. We responded to them in writing, and no changes were made to the rule based on that comment. We are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, do we have any? I'm sorry. Representative Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, some of these agents that are used commonly for anorexia or weight loss are generally have other benefits. Is there an accommodation for that, or is it specifically limited to when prescribed for the treatment of obesity as indicated by the PCP or specialist?
Yeah, actually, thank you, committee.
You're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, committee, for having me. And to answer your question, there are multiple indications of which these drugs are FDA approved for, in which we are required to cover based on our agreement with CMS and Medicaid. And that includes things like diabetes and obstructive sleep disorders, as well as additional like heart disease and a reduction in risk in stroke and heart disease. So there are multiple other indications of which these drugs are covered under the TennCare program. They were previously, before August 1st of this year, excluded for obesity specifically and are not covered for anorexia.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? Representative Renaud, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, I asked this question, and then this is just a follow-up to the question about the offering of nutrition and exercise as a precursor to a prescription for these drugs. What is the time frame that is given for implementation of a nutrition or exercise regimen before a drug like Ozempic or something would be prescribed?
So typically, prescribers and providers, treating members will have multiple conversations with their patients around obesity-related or prediabetes conditions and as a chronic condition, sort of explaining to them about the risks that they see when they start to see their weight increase in the office. And usually these conversations about diet and exercise and recommendations on that and how to get that in occur 3 to 4 times before someone would even begin to think about talking to or approaching the treatment of a GLP-1 or some other additional medication for weight loss.
And follow up?
So there's not any required time frame that they're required to implement or try either a change in diet or exercise before the GLP-1 would be prescribed?
So there are multiple guidelines for the treatment of obesity, and it varies depending on the individual and the stage at which they have increased weight gain and moving all the way from like a high BMI and obesity, or just being overweight and then moving into obesity and severe obesity, moderate to severe obesity. So it very much varies depending on what stage they are in the chronic condition or additional comorbidities that they may have. But typically that conversation, as I said, so if the patient is coming in more frequently, so let's say they have high blood pressure or diabetes, that conversation might be happening as much as every 3 months or every 6 months. But someone who doesn't have comorbidities may only be seeing their annual provider once annually or twice annually, and those conversations would be occurring then. But oftentimes, the conversation begins there, the member comes back, and the weight either sustains or increases. And so, again, the 3 to 4 times and several times before a medical or prescription intervention is offered to an individual.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that. I voted against these during the emergency rule, and I'm still going to stand by the concern that there are many side effects, serious side effects, and concerning risk of taking these drugs that with the state, the Tennessee or the Medicaid program offering these, I'm concerned about the cost to taxpayers of treating then the side effects, which can range from anything from pancreatitis to gallbladder inflammation to thyroid C cell tumors. So I think it's a dangerous, slippery slope for the state to go down this to pay for this for obesity, and then us end up paying for even more problems down the road. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Members, any other questions? Seeing none. Any public comment? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, we're ready to vote. Oh, sorry. We have a motion and we have a second. Madam Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes no. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes no. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, 2 noes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The rule will move out with a positive recommendation. If you want to be recognized by the clerk for your votes. Thank you guys very much. Rule moves out, positive recommendation. You guys have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Item number 17, Department of Commerce and Insurance. Good afternoon, sir. When you are welcome, please introduce yourself and tell us about your rule.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm Reed Witcher. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for the Regulatory Board's Division of Commerce and Insurance. The rules before you today were updated pursuant to the department's retrospective rule review for the Home Inspector Licensing Program. The rules remove the requirement for course providers to submit class rosters to the program, but maintain the requirement that licensees submit proof of course completion to the program. Current rules require home inspectors to provide a written contract to a client in advance of an inspection that discloses what items will not be inspected and requires home inspectors to list any areas of the home that were not inspected in the final inspection report. These rules emphasize that the final inspection report must disclose if crawl spaces, basements, or attics were not inspected due to inaccessibility. The program conducted a rulemaking hearing on September 4th, 2025. No public comments were received. And with that, happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative Fritz, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming today. Just a quick question for the folks that are in the home inspection business. As we get these rules out to them, what do you expect the cost or the burden on the average home inspector to be to modify to these new rules? In time or training or whatever.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To implement these changes, the two changes that I outlined, for the course providers, that would be no cost. It's a savings of time to them. For the disclosure in the report, they're already to disclose on the front end in the contract if there are parts of the home that they won't be able to inspect. And the rules currently require that they disclose in the final report areas of the house they didn't. And these rules are just putting an emphasis that if they didn't inspect the attic or crawl space, they have to include that. So no additional cost. Our aim is just to provide additional transparency to consumers.
Follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm fully supportive of that. Most of the home inspectors use some type program to print out the report to fill in the blanks. And so I'm sure there's some modification that's probably coming in those printed reports. And I'm just concerned that it may end up costing some. I'm not at all opposed to what we're doing here. I just want to make sure that we're not crippling some of the home inspectors by programs that they've been using for some time.
And it's possible that based on the software someone's using, maybe, but again, the current rules do require that they make that disclosure. We're just emphasizing to make sure that they are including the information that they're already required to include. Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. Members, any other questions? We talked a little bit about one of my concerns. I've had a few home inspections over the years, and finding out that they didn't have to disclose that they were not looking underneath the house or in the attic until after they'd done the inspection kind of seemed upside down to me as far as a consumer protection, because anybody that's owned a house for a long period of time knows that you're going to have troubles in a crawl space in an attic at some point. Is there something that we could do in this rule to get that on the front end so that before someone is asked to write the check for the home inspection, they know going in that those areas aren't going to be inspected?
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. We haven't had a chance to talk since we spoke on Monday. Your idea is such a good idea that it's already in our rules. So home inspectors are required to have a contract with their client prior to the inspection that discloses any areas that they won't be able to inspect.
Well, thank you for that very much. I appreciate that. Just looking out for folks. And if we can do it through rule without legislation, by golly, I'm all for that. So any members, any other questions? All right, seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We have motion and a second for a positive recommendation. Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. And on to the House. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The rule moves out with positive recommendation. And looks like you've got item number 18 as well. Please, you know the routine. Introduce yourself once again and tell us about your rule.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reed Witcher, Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards Division at Commerce and Insurance. The rules before you were promulgated pursuant to Public Chapter 944 of 2024. That public chapter requires programs attached to the Regulatory Boards Division to issue private letter advisory rulings to licensees. These rules create a uniform procedure for the divisions, boards, commissions, and programs. Licensees can submit written requests to programs. The program's legal counsel will draft a response that must be approved by both the program's executive director and either the board, commission, or commissioner who oversees the program. The division conducted a rulemaking hearing on July 24th, 2025. We received one public comment that expressed support for the process that we've outlined. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. Chairman Reedy? We have a motion for a positive recommendation. We have a second. Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and take the vote in the Senate?
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you very much, sir. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Item number 19, Department of Labor and Workforce Development. If you guys would make your way forward. Grab you a chair, and when you're set and ready, please introduce yourself. You're recognized.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. My name is Amanda Terry. I'm the Director of Legal Services and Legislative Liaison for the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. With me today, I have Dr. Robert Snyder, who is the Director of Medical Services. If the Chairman would allow, we would like to discuss agenda items 19, 20, and 21 together, as the 3 constitute the medical fee schedule.
I don't think we'd be able to do that because we do have to vote on them individually. I guess, Chairman Reedy?
Mr. Chairman, I think let's allow this to be heard at one time, but I understand that they all 3 would have to be voted on separately, but to make it more fluid in the conversation, I think it would be necessary.
All right, are they, you feel they're that closely tied together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's give it a ride, see what happens.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. The medical fee schedule consists of 3 parts. The first part is the rules for medical payments. That contains specific information concerning impairment ratings, missed appointments, independent medical evaluations, and other general information applicable to the other 2 chapters. The second, the medical fee schedule rules, are for outpatient services, and it addresses the applicable Tennessee state specific percentages used to create maximum allowable fees in the rate tables for physicians' professional services according to specialty and CPT codes, durable medical equipment, prosthetics, orthotics, therapy services, drugs, and other outpatient services provided to injured employees. Penalties, violations, and appeals are described. Lastly, the inpatient hospital fee schedule sets out inpatient reimbursements. The daily payments and the stop-loss payments are not based on Medicare methods, but reimburse hospitals on a per-day or per diem basis and include a method for extra payments for the most severe injuries. The medical fee schedule changes can be summarized as follows. Continue no charge for the court form to verify disability. Provider reimbursements have not kept up with inflation since 2016, falling behind by almost 25% as a result of the continuing reduction in the Medicare conversion factor and our inability to offset those reductions. Medicare enacted a 2.8% reduction for 2025. Protecting physician reimbursement and access to care as a result has been a struggle with Medicare's constant rate reductions on top of widespread and increasing questionable bill discounts. The payment groups have been simplified and fees for some physicians, all therapies, chiropractors, and psychologists have been increased to match medical inflation from 2023. There have been technical language clarifications made for certain services. These changes were priced by NCCI as a result of an overall cost to the system of 3.7%, less than inflation over the last 3 years, and will not cause an increase in insurance rates. We did have public comments on these rules, and we made changes according to the public comments. We would appreciate a favorable recommendation, and we stand ready to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that explanation of those rules. We appreciate you. Members, do we have any questions on item number 19? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment for item number 19? Seeing none. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you would please go ahead and take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. All right, looks like that one moves out with a positive recommendation. On item number 20, members, do we have any questions about item number 20? Seeing, Representative Fritz, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 379, I'll take you specific to the question. Just help me understand the compounding fee, if you please, if you would talk through that, the $25 per compound.
Yes. Dr. Robert Snyder, I'm the medical director. For individuals that get extra medications through a compounding pharmacist, we cap the compounding fee to be a reasonable fee for their services.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. Chairman Reedy? We have a motion for a positive recommendation. Do I see a second? We have a second. Madam Clerk, in the Senate, if you would, please take the vote.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. If you want to be recognized as no, please report to the clerk. All right, rule moves out with a positive recommendation. And next up, members, do we have any questions on item number 21? I have a question. Representative Fritz, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Similar question on page 389. Just looking at any one of those examples for the general information payment. So those are capping like under 2A1, peer group 1, a surgical admission. That's the $23.47 price cap per day for 7 days. I think the way I read that correctly.
The price cap is per day, but it changes for days over 7 days.
Okay. Any follow-up?
No, thank you.
All right, members, any other questions? Seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none. Chairman Reedy. We have a motion for a positive recommendation. We have a second. We have a second. And Madam Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. On to the House. Members, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. thank you very much for your expeditious nature today. And you guys have a Merry Christmas. Item number 22 on our agenda has been withdrawn. Item number 23, we have State Board of Education. And we're in a hurry, so you guys come on down. No, just giving you a hard time. Just having a little fun. It's getting late. Thank you, guys. You know the routine. If you would, please introduce yourself, and when you're ready, go ahead and tell us about your rule.
Thank you. I'm Nathan James with the State Board of Education. Joined on my right by Anna Hall with the Department of Education. Rachel Supay is our General Counsel at the State Board of Education. We're on page 403. This is our individual education accounts rule. TCA 4910-1405 authorizes the State Board of Education to promulgate rules for the implementation of the Individualized Education Account Program. This is a school choice program for eligible students with qualifying disabilities. This last year, the legislature passed Public Chapter 235, which added deafness to the qualifications. And that's the only thing the rule does, is changes the rule. So it lists deafness the same way the statute does. Other than that, it's exactly the same. And so we held a rulemaking hearing on the 24th of July and had no comments by WebEx or in person or by any other means. We also, of course, considered it at 2 meetings and had no request for public comment.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. Chairman Reedy. And we have a second. Madam Clerk, you want to go ahead and take the vote in the Senate, please?
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crow. Senator Crow votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you very much. And you are next on our agenda as well. Please, when you're ready, introduce yourself and tell us about your rule.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Nathan James with the State Board of Education. This next one is on page 416 of your rule packet. Public Chapter 1053 and 24 established a new type of local education agency called an Innovative School District and authorized the State Board of Education to promulgate rules to effectuate the Innovative School District Act. And pursuant to that act, state colleges and universities may contract with LEAs to run training schools for grades pre-K through 12, in which the college or university's teacher candidates may gain experience in the classroom. Those training schools have been allowable under TCA 498105 for many years and operate in LEAs across the state. This law established a pathway by which those public universities that operate training schools may apply to the Department of Education to gain recognition as an innovative school district and operate as an LEA in their own right, rather than operating under a contract with a separate LEA. This new rule establishes a process by which eligible universities may apply to operate their training schools through that ISD, including the submission of a plan comprised of components listed in Public Chapter 1053 that ensure compliance with all federal and state laws, rules, and regulations. There is just the one of these that exists, and that's at the University of Memphis, and there have not been any other districts or colleges or universities that have applied to do this. We held a rulemaking hearing on the 24th of July and had no comments on this via WebEx or at either one of the 2 board meetings.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Representative Fritz, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time. It's good to see you today. Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
The University of Memphis they have applied and do this. Do we anticipate any of the other colleges, or are you forecasting anyone applying?
You know, that's a good question. I'd certainly had anecdotal conversations with a couple of different universities that operate these schools already. But as of this moment in time, they haven't applied yet. They've had a little time to do so. So we'll just have to see. You know, it's one thing to think about doing something new like this, but then you can watch the process that Memphis has gone through and kind of decide whether you want to or not. So.
Just one follow-up, Mr. Chairman. And so with the good examples that we have from University of Memphis, do we see a template going to the other universities perhaps? Is there discussion about that?
I would say the door is open, and now it's up to those universities that want to go through that process. Remember, we've been operating schools like this for some time, but it's always been in contract with the LAA that's already in operation. So it's really up to the universities if they want to take that on.
Thank you.
All right, and Senator Bowling, you're recognized.
Thank you. And with regard to this school, how does it rank statewide?
Well, my understanding is that they're doing very, very well. As far as the specific number, I don't know if the department has that. I had the opportunity, along with some folks who sit on the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, and we took several of our members of State Board of Education down and spent an entire day with these schools down in Memphis, and appreciated the opportunity to do that. So my understanding is it's quite impressive. But I don't have
My
the specific
understanding
details.
is it's right there close to number one in this state.
Pretty close.
I think
but-
we need to look at what they're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for those comments. Representative Parkinson, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure I was clear on when we passed the law for the University of Memphis, it did open it up for any university across the state to
Yes, sir.
to
Yes,
operate
sir.
schools. Okay.
Within these specific parameters of the statute, that's correct.
And what are those parameters, if you don't mind?
So as I understand, it's got to be a Carnegie level 1 or 2 doctoral university. So that's a lot of them, but it's not all of them. So if I'm misstating, please correct me, because I might have slipped since we had that decision made, but I believe it's Carnegie level 1 and 2.
Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
Anna Hall from the department. Yep, Nathan's correct. R1 and R2 research institutions, which I wrote them down this morning. ETSU, MTSU, TSU, Tennessee Tech, UT Health Sciences in Memphis, UT Knoxville, University of Memphis, and Vanderbilt University are all the ones in the state.
And
awesome. Thank you.
These schools are open to the community. It's not just the faculty and staff at the university that can attend there, right? I'm sorry, did I cut you off, Representative Parkinson? My apologies. You recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You've been cutting me off all day.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. My apologies.
You cut me off then. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having a little fun here at the end. Members, do we have any other questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. All right, Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we have all of that in place.
Senator Bowling. Senator Bowling votes aye. Senator Crowe. Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Oliver. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. And to everyone that makes this work, to all of my committee members, thank you guys for being here, showing up. Have a very Merry Christmas, safe travels, and blessings be with you this holiday season. Thank you, guys. We're adjourned.